And a question that I have is, like, in your personal view, as for me, I believe in God, so I also want to know if you think a belief in God can be compatible with objectivism.
Okay, can a belief in God be compatible with objectivism? Yes and no. So I'll give you two different ways of looking at this. Objectivism holds that there is no God. It is strictly atheistic. It says, no, there is no God. But objectivism also holds that to be objective and to be independent, you must go by your own judgment. And if your judgment is that you think there is evidence for the existence of God, because the other virtue is reason, right? So if you are in a position where you think, I actually think there's evidence for the existence of God. I think there's evidence and logical argument in support of the idea that there's a God. Then you are going by the same epistemology that I am and that Ayn Rand is. So we have a shared epistemology there. The epistemology is, all right, we're going to accept the existence of things for which there's evidence and logic. Right? In that instance, your conclusion would not be consistent with objectivism, but your methodology would. Okay? You're saying, I want to go by observation, evidence, and logic, and that's exactly what you should be going by. If, however, your method is something different, if your method is, no, I don't care whether there's evidence or logic for God, I want to believe in God on faith and revelation, that's my method. Now you've skipped to a different epistemology. So you're no longer sharing the epistemology and you're completely outside of what the principles of this philosophy are. So I grew up in a Christian household. My father is an Episcopal minister. So I know where you're coming from, and I know where anybody who's in a religious context is coming from. And what I urge you to do is this: use your judgment and ask yourself whether you want evidence to be the base of knowledge or not, or whether faith or revelation is okay with you. But bear in mind this: if faith is a means of knowledge, then you have to take that seriously. If faith is a means of knowledge, then it's a means of knowledge. And that means that if someone has faith that he should behead you, then he should, as a matter of fact, behead you. He knows it. He has knowledge that he should do that. It's real knowledge. He got it by faith, right? You see the danger in faith being a means of knowledge. And we face this today. We have an enemy that holds faith as a means of knowledge, and they believe that they should kill us precisely because they hold that. That's the problem. They think faith is a means of knowledge, but in my view, it is not. And I think if you study more objectivism, you'll come to the conclusion that it doesn't even make sense to talk about faith as a means of knowledge. There's no method going on there. I wrote an article, and I'll be writing more on this, but I wrote an article titled The Islamic Jihad and Western Faith, or Western Faith and the Islamic Jihad anyway. I get into the idea in that essay of faith being a means of knowledge, and I quote a lot of religious people who are talking about what faith is. And if you read that essay, even though it's sort of got a political bent to it, there's an epistemological element in there that talks about this, and I think you'll find it enlightening.